atba' tabi'een, what they used to do in the different mawasim of al-Islam, the different seasons. What did they do in the month of Ramadan? What did they do in the month of Sha'ban? What did they do in the month of Muharram and other than that? Anyway, the point that I want to share with you here today is, what were the Salaf upon in the month of Ramadan as it relates to the Quran? He brought some examples in which tremendous scholars from the Tabi'een, like Al-Aswad, who was a student of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu. And Imam Al-Aswad used to read the Quran every 2 days in the month of Ramadan. And he will complete the Quran's recitation after every 2 days. And Imam Ibrahim al-Nakhai, anyone who happens to be Hanafi, he owes a debt of that gratitude to Imam Ibrahim al-Nakhai, who happened to be the teacher, the sheikh, who taught Abu Hanifa, Hamad ibn Abi Sulaiman. Ibrahim al-Nakhai used to read the Quran in the month of Ramadan. Every 3 days he will complete the recitation of the Quran. Every 3 days. And Imam Qatada ibn Du'am as-Sadusi, from the tremendous Tabi'een, one of the premier students of Abdullah ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with both of them. He used to read the Quran, finish the Quran in 7 days. Every 7 days. So they would complete the Quran multiple times in the month of Ramadan. The companion Abu Raja, they used to read the Quran every 10 days in the month of Ramadan, thus completing the Quran at least 2 times, 3 times in the same month. Now I know that some people are going to sit there and they're going to say, but I thought you shouldn't read the Quran so many times. Those imams and those scholars, they knew the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that was collected by Imam al-Bukhari. La yafqahu al-Quran man qara'ahu fi aqall min 3. The person who read the Quran in less than 3 days didn't understand it. That's inside Bukhari, 3 days. Another hadith inside Bukhari, the man came, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As radiyallahu anhuma. He wanted to read the Quran in a few days. The Prophet said, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Until he came to 7 days. So he told him, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, اقرأه في 7 ولا تزد على ذلك. Read the Quran in 7 days and don't do less than 7. So in Sahih Bukhari there are 2 narrations. That you shouldn't complete the recitation of the Quran in less than 7 days or in less than 3 days. And there's an authentic narration that was collected by Imam al-Tirmidhi that you shouldn't complete it in less than 5 days. Those are the narrations. 7, 5, and 3. So the scholars took varying positions. The point here is not, how did that Imam read the Quran in less than 2 days? That's not the issue. I'm not here to discuss whether or not it's permissible or impermissible to read the Quran in less than 7 days, 5 days, or 3 days. That is a purely academic issue. Because no one here, wallahu a'lam, is trying to read the Quran in less than 7 days. That's not an issue here today with the Muslims. So I'm not here to discuss that. The point that I'm trying to make here, by mentioning what these scholars used to do, is to show you, ikhwani, how the scholars used to engage themselves in the recitation of the Quran. How the Quran wasn't something that they would allow the days of Ramadan, 10 days, 9 days to pass by, and the man has not had except a small portion of the qira'ah of the Quran. And Imam Sufyan, Ibn Sa'id, Ibn Masruq, al-Thawri, Sufyan al-Thawri, as I told you, he abandoned the ibadah, everything in the month of Ramadan. So no one can come and say, okay, that's what I'm going to do in the month of Ramadan. And Imam Sufyan al-Thawri used to abandon everything, but he turned to the Quran, and he engaged himself in the Quran. Not like the people, if we were to ask the people, why haven't you read more of the Quran in this month? The answer is going to be, I was watching Big Brother. Why haven't you read more of the Quran? The answer will be, I just wasted my time. I was playing soccer, I was playing football. It's not that anything of some ibadah from the ibadah of Islam. So the point here is, that's how the people of the past used to engage in the recitation of the Quran in this month. So, for clarification purposes, because I think it is needed, Imam Ibn Rajab, in explaining the position of the Imam, why did they read the Quran in 2 days, 3 days? Why is that? And there's a hadith of the Prophet that said you shouldn't do it in less than 3. He said that it was the opinion of certain scholars of the past that if it was a special time, like the month of Ramadan, especially the last 10 days, then they used to feel the permissibility of reading in less than the numbers that the Prophet gave us, 7, 5, or 3, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If one of them happened to be in a special place, then it's highly encouraged that the individual takes advantage of being in Mecca, being in Bayt al-Maqdis. And while he's in that special buq'ah from the earth, he'll read the Quran, take advantage of the time. That was the opinion of Imam Ahmed. That was the opinion of Imam Ishaq ibn Ibrahim Rahuwiya. And they're from the tremendous scholars of Islam. So the point is that the people of the past used to connect themselves to the book of Allah Ta'ala. Now that we have the month of Ramadan, it is the month in which the Muslims are on a heightened level of taqwa, and as a result of that, it should become that much more easier for a person to read more of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And with that being the case, I encourage that. Now, we come to the issue of having someone who is the Hafid of the Quran, and he's reading for us in the Taraweeh prayer. That's an opportunity that even if you do not find yourself with being encouraged to read the Quran on your own, at least we should make more effort to stand behind the person so that we can at least hear all of the Quran in the month of Ramadan. You yourself may not have the wherewithal, or you may not be inspired enough to read yourself. But it doesn't take that much as it relates to just standing behind someone to hear the kalam of Allah Azza wa Jalla, all of it in the month, or as much as you possibly can. But again, Ikhwani, if a person's heart is filled with music, his heart is filled with things that are not from the religion, he'll find it very easy to become bored with the kalam of Allah. He'll find it easy to abandon the kalam of Allah, to prefer to listen to something else other than the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I tell you, this Salat al-Taraweeh that many people miss out on the opportunity, yes, sometimes it's a bit difficult. The person may eat too much, his feet are burning, his knees are hurting, he is in the saf, a shaitan comes to him, gives him every reason not to pray the Taraweeh. That's why he doesn't find himself in the masjid during these days, although these days won't come back to him. We should realize that the Taraweeh, one of the